What's going on, YouTube fam? Thank you so much for tuning in to my channel. I want to thank everybody who has left me encouraging words and liked and subscribed and all of that. I see you guys out there. I see you, fam. Thank you so much. So today I wanted to get into, how do we create healthy habits? How do we create good habits as entrepreneurs, as freelancers, creatives, solopreneurs, whatever you want to call us? How do we create good habits? Well, today I want to talk about how we can buy back our time. In particular, I'm going to kind of explain to you how I have bought back a lot of my time in doing this whole entrepreneurial thing. And it's allowed me to work smarter and not harder. So before I get started, I want to say hello to those of you who have come back again. And for those of you who are new, I am Tammy. I am a two-time recovering entrepreneur, and I love all the things entrepreneurship, freelance, creative, solopreneur, you name it. I love it. I love business. And so if you love business like I love business, then you are in the right place. So today, what I wanted to talk about is how we can buy back our time. And, this topic is really interesting, I think, because when you are an entrepreneur, freelance, consultant, whatever it is you're doing and you're kind of doing your own thing, even if it's a side hustle, I think one of the most important things that we do in making money or making money in exchange for things that we produce is being very deliberate about our activities, our day-to-day activities and things that we do. And so it can show up in a lot of different ways for many of us. But have you ever felt like the day is always getting away from you? Like, I know for me, that's the one thing. So when you work from home, and I ask my friends this all the time, why does it seem like the days fly? Like, why? I don't understand that. I don't get it. But when you work from home, it seems as though the days go by like, you wake up, next thing you know, it's 3:00, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is, so you've got the thing where, your time gets away from you. Then there are days where we just feel super unproductive. And that can be maybe you got caught up in a ton of meetings and you didn't have time to do any of the things that you wanted to take care of. And so sometimes it can feel like the day is really unproductive. Then there can be opportunities where you've got 10 tabs open in your computer. Like, why do we have 10 tabs open? Like, seriously. Well, you got 10 tabs open. You've yet to close any of them. And it's because you think you're multitasking. Yeah. What I have found in entrepreneurship is anytime that I think I'm multitasking, girl, or boy, I'm not getting anything done. Like, seriously, like I'm not getting anything done. So there's that, or you're just doing too much, right? And as entrepreneurs, freelance creatives, whatever, we are always doing too much, right? So in this video, what I want to talk about is this is the time for us to kind of be still and be still in a way that's deliberate. Be still in a way where it gives you mind time. And as someone who works for yourself, or even if you're doing a side hustle, you need time to think. And it's interesting. And I'll tell you a quick story. I was talking to my son actually just a couple of days ago, and he came running in the house and he's like, "Oh my gosh, Mom." He called me like 15 times. And he's like, "Have you seen my wallet?" And I'm doing my own thing. You're grown. I haven't seen your wallet. And so I said to him, I'm like, well, first off, while you're ripping and you're running and you're looking all over the place and you're tearing up the house and you're slamming doors and you're doing the most, I said to him, stop and think. That little exercise helped him play back in his mind what he may have actually done with his wallet. And so I say all that to say that in our times of busyness and chaos and craziness and lifing, let's make sure that we stop and just think and take time to think. we need to be really deliberate about that. And that will help you plan your next move. It's interesting because I remember, kind of growing up, and my mother used to always say to me that, number one of the things she would say to me, and she dropped a ton of jewels. But one of the things she would always say to me is that time is money, right? And obviously, when you're younger, you don't necessarily equate time to money. But as you get older, you begin to understand that your time is really valuable, and the value of time is the thing that you need to be very protective of, which is your time. But also you understand that you don't necessarily have to exchange your time for money. So time can be extremely valuable if it's impactful, right? So just, when you're thinking about your time and the preciousness that we have with it these days, can you really quantify it? Can you really put a dollar value on it? I don't know. These days I do. So I hope you're doing the same thing. I don't know if your mother told you this, but another gem she dropped on me was, you either going to pay with your time or you're going to pay with your money. And that has stuck with me. Like, it has absolutely stuck with me. And I think about when I have to get different things done around the house, and I think to myself, do I want to fix that toilet? Like, really? I mean, I can, but do I really want to do that? Or do I just want to pay a plumber to do it? And at this point in my life, I think I'm going to pay a plumber to do it, because number one, he's going to come in, he or she going to come in, get the job done, be in, be out, and that's it, right? If I do it, well, I got to take a trip to Home Depot. I got to get on YouTube and kind of figure out what the issue is. And then I got to make sure I got the right tools to do it, and so on and so forth. And so time, either paying with your time or paying with your money is such a valuable gem. Drop that in the comments. If you think that that is a valuable gem, I want you to drop it in the comments. And plus, I want to see how long you've been actually sitting for this video. But anyway, so yeah. So in this video, like I said, I'm talking about buying back our time. And we're going to do it in 5 different ways. So if you hang around to the rest of this video, I'm going to share with you 5 different ways you can buy back your time like I have bought back mine. Now, before we get there, I would love to kind of share with you a story around time and value. So when I was first starting my company, I spent an enormous amount of time, and I mean an enormous amount of time, selling, right? Because, as you are building your business, you're building your brand, you're building your sales funnel, you spend a lot of time, nurturing sales, qualifying, doing all the things, right? And one of the things that I found that I spent a lot of time on was social media, because at the time, everyone was saying, Tammy, you need to be on social media so that you can, reach out to your customers, and you can do all these, various things. And, you got to increase engagement. So therefore, you got to be on social media all the time, and yada, yada, and all this kind of stuff. And so I was doing what everybody else was doing. I don't know if you were doing that, but I was certainly doing that. So I was on social media. I was on all the channels. I was on Twitter. I was on Facebook. I was on Instagram, I was on LinkedIn. I was doing the most. It felt like it anyway. And did it yield me results? Occasionally it did, but it wasn't as impactful as I needed it to be, right? I didn't have time to be, pouring tons and tons of hours of time into social media only to get a small amount of the results. So then, listening to the next guru, they were like, Tammy, you need to be doing email marketing. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to do some email marketing. I create all this email marketing content. I've got all the campaigns going. I've got the funnels going and all of this stuff, right? And did it yield me results? I will say it did. I'm not going to sit up here and lie to y'all and say it didn't. It did. It yielded results. I had really good open rates. I had good engagement rates, but it was still very slow to bring someone kind of through the funnel, right? To get them to buy. So it's not that it didn't work. It felt like a one-to-one kind of engagement, right? And what I was looking for is something that was a much more one-to-many, where I could do one action, again, looking at my time, one action, but then be impactful and grow to many, right? And so the next thing that I tried was, ads. So we started doing Facebook ads, and then we would do, well, back then, and I am telling my age a little bit, but we were doing Craigslist ads. And so on there, we would also create ads. We were also doing LinkedIn ads. And did we see engagement increase? Absolutely. We saw a lot of engagement increase. Now, engagement, is around the middle part of the funnel, right? And again, I'm trying to bring them all the way down the funnel so that they could buy. And so it really helped with the know, like, and trust factor. I combined it with the email, with my email campaigns. And so that was getting me further into the know, like, and trust kind of space. So I will say that ads did work. It took people from the top of the funnel. And then with my campaigns, my email campaigns, it started to bring people further down the funnel, right? So it was working. I do not want to say it wasn't working, because it was working, but it was still slow, And so I put my marketing hat back on. And what happened is I went to this event, and I was an audience member at this event. And I remember seeing an expert up on the stage, and she was talking and she was engaging with the audience, and she was doing a presentation, and it was like just a very quick kind of presentation with a little bit of education in it. And the light bulb went on, right? So I was like, wait a minute, she may be on to something. So as I'm in this presentation, what I see in the audience is people are engaging with her. They're asking questions. She's answering them on the fly. She's like, look, bring me your questions. I got the answers. And so now I'm starting to get jazzed, right? And I'm like, oh, she is on to something, right? And so what I discovered is education, right, in its live format. Man, look, it was so engaging, and it was a quicker way to get to a know, like, and trust factor. You could also combine that with ads. You could also combine that with email campaign or email funnels. And oh my gosh, now we got a compound effect going on. And that's what I absolutely loved. So I was like, you know what? Bet that's what I'm doing. So what I started to do for my business is I call it the Chitlin circuit. And for those of you who are old school, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the Chitlin circuit was, I would do live events. I would do live workshops. I would do live trainings. I was collaborating with chambers of commerce and small business development centers and incubation business centers and just all these things. And I became an expert in the things that I love and the things that I'm absolutely passionate about. And when I did that, I began hosting workshops and things of that nature. I was able to take people's questions on the dime, right? And help them have those light bulb moments. Again, I am establishing know, like, and trust factors. And so I was able to take the one thing or the one relationship to many, right? And so I would be on a stage, or I would be in front of a podium, and I'm talking to people and I'm educating a number of people out there. And so I think for me, that was the thing where it was a one action and it was an impactful result, right? Again, one to many. I was able to buy back my time. Now, yes, it took me some time to prepare my presentation and make sure that it's engaging and all of those good things. But as I was doing that, right, I was able to do that one engagement session. And now I've got people emailing me. I've got people asking me, hey, I need help with this. Hey, can I get on your calendar for this? And that for me was the light bulb moment. So, I just wanted to kind of share my story with you on how you can actually do the one-to-many rule and buy back your time. All right. So now we're going to move on what I would call buying back your time. And like I said before, I'm going to give you 5 tips. Now, I hope you have stuck around for this video because these 5 tips, these are things that I've done that I know work, right? And if you're doing them already, kudos to you, thumbs up to you. If you're not, what you waiting for? What are you waiting for? So I'm going to give you the 5 tips and hopefully you can implement these same tips. All right. So number 1, time blocking. And I know everybody talks about time blocking, but let me tell you how I do it. So I don't do it for every single thing, but I do it every day. And that is I take an hour of my day, morning or afternoon. I take 1 hour of my day and I block it out. That is my do not disturb time. And in that do not disturb time, it is my thinking time. It is the time that I think through strategy. It is the time that I may even do some research, but it is my no disturb time. And I want you to do the same thing because trust me, it really does work. It helps me be very clear and intentional about my next move. And so sometimes we just have to be deliberate with that. So I want you to be just as deliberate. And I promise you it's going to work. The second thing is my morning routine. Pick a morning routine every morning. Do that same thing because it is going to yield you big results. So whatever your morning routine is, pick it, stick to it, do it every day, right? And you'll see over time. Now that one is kind of a slow roll. I will be honest, it's a slow roll. But what that slow roll does is it yields you consistent results. So pick a morning routine. Number 3, outsource. I can't tell you how good if you outsource anything that you do, I promise you it counts results. It really does. Whether that's editing your videos, if you're on YouTube like I am, and editing your videos, your thumbnails, whatever, just make sure you're outsourcing some part. It can even be things in your own personal life. It could be grocery service. It can be cleaning service. I don't care what it is, but outsource something, right? That makes your life more fulfilled. The 4th thing I would say is, and this is what I would consider a personal interest. For me, it's whether I'm listening to a podcast or I'm listening to an audiobook. I do that while I'm walking the dog. So it's the thing that they call killing 2 birds with 1 stone, right? Take back your time. So maybe you're cooking. Cut on that podcast. Cut on that audiobook. Whatever. Just kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And again, it's something quick, it's something easy, and you don't realize that it saves time, right? Again, 2 birds, 1 stone. And then the last one is, and this one is probably much more related to your finances. For me, it shows up really simply by just doing some sort of auto pay or auto transfer. Very simple, very easy, not too much fuss and fuss. Like, if you can, I would say pick that, whether it's, auto transferring into your saving or auto paying something, your car note or your mortgage or your rent or whatever. Again, we are trying to take back some of our time so that we can do the impactful work that we absolutely love to do and we get the freedom we deserve. Now, I hope you enjoyed this in telling you how you can buy your time back. If you love tips like this, then I invite you to leave a comment, or you can subscribe, or you can like. I would love to continue to connect with you. This is Tammy with Make It a Double. And like I've said before, we've got one life, so why not make it a double?